I want to talk about Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the worst person in Congress.
You said
And I
it, not
say
me.
that, she is the worst person in Congress, and that is saying something because there are
Yeah,
some bad people in Congress, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I think, is probably the worst. And the reason I say that is because um, she is really anti-civil liberties. She
oh yeah,
really does want to attack speech. She wants to attack protests. She wants to attack. She wants to limit people. And it's not just about Israel, Palestine. She has been at the forefront of censorship for anything that is just against what anything she doesn't like. She wants to censor journalists and COVID information, or just quick to label people conspiracy theorists and whatnot. What is it? So tell us about the anti-civil liberty things that she's done recently. I know she's signed a bunch of legislation, or she's even
oh yeah,
sponsored it. Like, what has
yeah.
she been at the forefront of?
Okay, well, first of all, let's be very clear that she was on the forefront of the anti-BDS legislation that started cropping up when I started paying attention. I mean, all of that is state work, but remember back then she was in our state legislature. So this is someone who has
Mhm.
been pushing that kind of nonsense for years. She has been putting herself very front and center on this issue. She is one of the people that supported the resolution in Congress that said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. She is one of those people that is, in my opinion, fanning the flames of anti-Semitism higher than I can imagine. I never thought I'd see somebody creating anti-Semitism and Islamophobia simultaneously at this level. Um,
Mhm.
but she's generally against anything. I mean, I remember her questioning Matt Taibbi. She brought
Yeah.
him in there in front of and we had Matt on our show a couple days after that. And I remember asking him, like, you were there voluntarily? He's like, yeah. And you let her open a mouth like that to you? Because I got to tell you, there's no universe wherein somebody's opening a mouth like that to me and I'm going to sit there. I would have been
Yeah.
out that door so fast. There's no way. She was so rude. And she was to RFK too. But basically, if it doesn't fall into line with her narrative, and by the way, her narrative isn't really her narrative. It's Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, APAC, you name it, Big Sugar, fossil fuel industry, whatever. So, whatever that narrative is, she will protect it at all costs, and that does involve censorship. So, any information, whether it was her going after Matt Taibbi for cherry picking, he cherry picked the information that was given to him. No, he presented the information that was given to him. He didn't have the information that wasn't given to him. That's how journalists
Right.
work. So,
Right.
and it's not a journalist's responsibility to have to go out of their way to hunt down completely other information. They just have to verify if what they have is true. And he did.
Mhm.
And it was. And so, the fact that she didn't appreciate that is because it wasn't her narrative. So I just think she's very telling. She works for corporate America. She works for APAC. She has taken close to 1 million just from APAC alone. We're in a housing crisis here that is like one of the worst in the country. And this election cycle alone, she's taken $100,000 from real estate developers, one of which is Blackstone. Now, this is not helping us here. We're having a serious problem with the corporate buyout of all of our properties and what that's doing. So, yeah, but she will stifle any opinion. She was okay with all what they did on campus. She was fine with that they were stifling that speech. I would have been arrested. I'm quite certain I would have been arrested.
Yeah, she's definitely, she reminds me very much of a character out of a Harry Potter movie. She's just
The troll at the bank, the goblins. She's like the bank
or no,
goblins.
no, she reminds me of Umbridge, the woman that was like, we're gonna whip everybody into shape and all the
Oh,
rules, and you have to follow
okay.
me, or else, severe punishment for you. She just
She's
has that
mm,
that energy.
yeah, she does. And she does, and she bullies and she threatens and she does that here locally. And some
So
people are sick of
the
it.
race, yeah, well, hopefully they're sick of it enough to get rid of her. The election is August 20th.
Yes.
You're running in the Democratic primary. So how many
Correct.
others are in the race?
Just us. It's just me
Just
and
the two
Debbie.
of you.
Yep.
And have they come after you? What have they done to you to limit your campaign?
Well, okay. They don't come after me because they don't want to acknowledge it's happening. Her main strategy is just to pretend it doesn't, hope for low voter turnout, and then just, usually that works. But what they do is, so our Broward Democratic Executive Committee, which is the county committee for the state Democratic Party, sent out their Democratic primary voter guide with all the Democrats running in the races in Broward County, and except for District 25, that only Debbie is on the voter guide running as a Democrat in District 25, even though I'm on the ballot and qualified.
How do they get away with that?
Well, because they're a private club, the same way they can get away with sticking Kamala in without a primary or having super delegates, the same way they get away with everything, because they're a private club. And this is something that to me is the scariest thing about all of our politics, is that two private clubs, and Jesse Ventura has been saying this for years, two private clubs have basically stolen our democracy. And it's a real problem because neither of them have any real obligation to be democratic. They really don't. Now, I will say the Republicans do actually, I think, a better job regarding their primaries, but they don't have to, is the point. And so this is a problem.
They seem to begrudgingly have democracy. Sometimes they're like, this person.
Maybe because
what do we do?
Their people are infinitely more capable of harm than the blue people. The blue people can't even change tires. So the blue people aren't coming after the Democrats. Clearly, we just had somebody who didn't win a single primary be crammed down our throat, essentially, as the nominee, and they're all just in line, like nothing happened. And
they don't rise up. They don't rise up. Like you see, the Republicans rise up. The Republicans get ornery, and they'll fight back. But Democrats, you're right, will just kind of roll over and say, well, I guess it is what it is.
Well, I don't. Okay. And that's how I'd like the party to not be that way.
Hey, guys, this was just a clip of a longer show. Catch the full show by going to KimIversonShow.com. It is free. It airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You could go back now and watch this full interview. I highly recommend it. Again, go to KimIversonShow.com. Thank you so much for watching.